Rise and shine. Good morning. It is 8:45 p.m. It is a late session here. We've got a lot of things going on in the Middleman podcast realm studio today. I'm here with DJ AR. Welcome to the Middleman podcast, bro. Thank you for being here. But we just had a fucking tear of a live experience of a DJ set on a 107.5 Diamond Radio.
Yes.
So thank you for being here, bro. But before we get into all that, let's just talk about life. Let's talk about what's going on in the news. Let's talk about what's going on in the world and your personal life. I, for example, yesterday did a stand-up comedy set.
Nice.
I did a stand-up comedy set, very limited, very exclusive. If you know, the middleman, Kevin Martinez. I don't participate in comedy often because I feel like I'm disrespecting the game, okay? Because I feel like I can't do it all the time. So to give myself a label, a print like that, to me is false, and I don't want to do that. However, at the Melting Pot yesterday, Gus the Savage, Week 10 of Melting Pot at Solstice Bar and Grill. I was just flirting with the idea of doing it. Okay. He had asked me, "Do you want to do it?" Or he said, "Yo, I would really appreciate if you did some comedy today." I was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know." And I was there with my buddy Colo, and we were sitting there, and I'm thinking jokes and stuff, and I'm like, you know what? If I have to go up, I can do something. Next thing you know, Gus throws me in a flame. And he just calls out my name, unbeknownst to my knowledge, that I was performing stand-up comedy that night. Have you ever been to a comedy show?
I have not.
You have not?
No.
Whoa, you're missing out. Do you watch comedy on YouTube?
I watch it on Instagram. Shout out my buddy Khalil Ismail. He's a comedian out in LA, originally from here. I watch his stuff.
Sweet.
I haven't gotten too much farther past that though. Need to get more into it.
Yeah, get into comedy, man. Comedy's it's a tough field. Shout out who'd you just shout out there?
My buddy Khalil Ismail.
Khalil Ismail. So he started comedy in this area and took it far, and now he's in LA.
He's in LA, yeah.
Respect, man. So to do that, to get the room and get the presence of like, I'm here and I'm trying to tell you a joke in a bar is hard as fuck. And I went in there, man, and I think I killed. I think I did a great job. There's a 3-minute film captured by my boy Colo. There was also a live stream. If you saw it, if you want to go find it, you can find it. I shared it on Kevin Martinez, my personal Facebook. That's all you need to know. If people want me to drop the video, how many comments should I limit that for me to drop the video? You
know what? We're going to do 17 because 107.5 to Diamond. 17. We'll do 17.
17. All right, I like that. So 17 comments to drop the video, and I will drop it. Fair warning, it was a lot of crowd work, so if you had to be there, you had to be there. But I will still try to correlate all the jokes and make sure that everyone enjoys it, man. So that was what was going on. So that was my Thursday night. What did you do?
Okay. My Thursday night, last night, I was chilling. Playing Xbox.
Okay.
Working, DJing, producing. That's just what I do. I don't really go out too much anymore. If I do, I'm chilling, but I'm working. I'm just working.
So you're a producer, you're a DJ, you have the radio, man. You're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It all started somewhere. Where did it start?
It started, I want to say, 10th grade. There's a guy behind the camera. His name's Oxy. He had given me FL Studios. I didn't really mess with it, nothing like that. But back at...
So like the illegal like plug type shit.
Nah,
hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like flash drive, hard drive.
Listen.
How do you think? Besides,
but back then, at our high school, they used to rap battle right on the concourse.
Okay.
And so like he was one of the battlers. Sellz, someone I still work with to this day, he battled, and just watching them do that and then trying to create music, I just wanted to be involved in it. But I wanted nothing to do with FL Studios. That thing was like a new language. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So,
were you using another program before that?
I never did anything with music.
Okay, so you were just like in the environment, in the scene at the school with the rap battles.
Yeah, just chilling.
And you never tried to like partake as in like writing lyrics or battling back. You were more so just there and enjoyed the environment.
Yeah, I was third party.
Okay.
Just chilling, you know, just friends with them.
Respect.
I wouldn't even dare try to spit some bars.
Okay. Never been your thing?
No.
Not even a freestyle just for fun?
Listen, as a producer, you end up
Yeah.
making songs. I'm not gonna sit here and say I haven't, but
For sure.
nah, I stick to the beats.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you started on FL. Okay,
Yep.
so FL, that was the first program you had. This is in high school, so you're probably like 17, 18, give or take.
Younger, probably 15.
15. Okay, 15 getting
Yeah.
into it. So that's like a freshman,
Yeah, about so.
right? Okay,
Yep.
so you had mentioned Sellz, you had mentioned Oxy. How many of like the original crew were you working with in the beginning?
Well, it originally started with a group called Triple that was Oxy, Curtis, and JT. And then Sellz had NCG with him, Swag, and it kind of everyone was just doing their own thing. As time went on, we ended up creating a group. It was called Dub Squad. This was back in like that ended up becoming my senior year, but it was like 10 people in it, and it was kind of more like an Odd Future type deal. So there was like people that skateboarded, didn't nothing with music. It was people just there chilling, and then there was the people that produced rap and all that. So, you know, as the years went on, it just kept building from that moment of just the rap battles on the concourse that didn't last. Teachers weren't having that shit.
No, of course not.
But yeah, so it was a lot of people, especially then, that were doing this.
And so you're from Wilkes Barre, correct?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Wilkes Barre, ended up moving to Kingston. So I went to Valley West. That was high school.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Valley West High School out there. You know, there's the diamond, you know, the diamond. That is a big thing of Wilkes Barre. That is something that like I know Twin Gambit even represents that, you know, diamond, the diamond city. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because you're from the area, like would you say you're like a native, so to speak?
100%. Yeah.
All right, so cool. So like, yeah, put me on, bro, because like I'm from like Mount Pocono, so I don't really the diamond. Where does that come from?
So the Diamond City, as it says, is that it got the nickname because of the coal, and it was like them finding a diamond mine of coal. So they gave it the nickname the Diamond City. Now, Twin and myself, Oxy, there's very few that rep the city or just the area of being, yo, I'm from Wilkes-Barre, I'm from the Diamond City. Because most people that are in the hip hop scene here, you know, New York, Philly, they come in and, you know, they don't really rep it here as much. And there's nothing wrong with that, rep where you're from. But we really just want to make sure that we nail it home that like, yo, we here, this is what we stand for, this is where we from, and try to put it on the map. You know, you can see Diamond City's finest. I got it on my chain. That's what we say, we believe. So
is there like the materials of a diamond, right?
Yeah.
What is that made out of? It's the sharpest stone in the world, right?
Yeah.
It's, you know, you can cut glass with diamond, right?
Yeah.
Is that how you feel? Do you think some people of Wilkes-Barre feel that is the embodiment, like the character trait that you get from coming out of that city?
I would say so, yeah. Because, you know, being where we're located, we're kind of so much, we're an afterthought, you know, small city. So you got to fight double as hard to even just get any recognition. So I would say that. 100%.
Respect, man.
Yeah.
Respect. So the diamond, man, the diamond. You guys are strong, very far and few in between that represent.
Yeah.
And really hone in on that, you know. We talked about the hip hop community in the last podcast, featuring Exposed Toxic, and I had made a statement. You know, there was a common question about how do you feel the hip hop community is, you know, like how do you feel the hip hop community is amongst each other? Okay. And I had a statement which was, I want to hear what you want to say, and then, you know, I'll tell you what my thoughts are of the hip hop community, and we'll go from there.
So the hip hop community in, I'll just say Northeastern Pennsylvania, and I will hone in a little bit more on, you know, Wilkes-Barre, Diamond City. I'd like to shout out everybody that's done it and still doing it or doesn't do it anymore, that have laid the groundwork to help us get in the position we are, all the way from SGS Studios to the Hive, Encore Studio up here, NEPA scene, the Middleman, because we don't get a fair shot. I don't believe we do in this area. There's a lot of talent. Venues don't really give us the chance to go out and perform. Shout out Rich, NEPA scene. The guy every Tuesday. Every
Tuesday at the V Spot.
At the V Spot, be there. So yeah, but I think it's strong in the sense of artists.
Okay.
Right? There's so many that have different skills or sounds or vibes that, you know, they could fit right in on some of this stuff. So even atmosphere, you know, giving a platform for these artists to perform, it's something, you know, when I saw it, I'm like, I got to be a part of this.
Shout out Atmosphere.
That's right.
Always. It's kind of a thing, bro. We just plug it in. We plug it. We plug it. We plug it. By the end of this podcast, we might need a power strip off of how many plugs we're going to be plugging in, bro. On a for real. On a for real. No, so I like your answer. I agree with that answer. And that's basically kind of the same principle that I felt that the hip-hop community was made out of in this area. Okay, so like the hip-hop community, in my eyes, is the artists are within each other. They know what's going on amongst each other.
Yeah.
They support each other, you know, but it's quiet. It's a quiet support. It's
Oh,
more of like
more
of like a DM or a text or even a comment. Just say, yo, respect, bro. Good work. Keep it up. Love to see it. But yeah, that was one of the main talking points is that the hip hop community is strong, but the support from the community isn't strong for the hip hop community. And it's the venues, you know, some of the venues they're very weary. Understandable. Don't get me wrong. I get it. We all get it, right? But it feels as if there's and more so open door to the rock and, you know, the pop punk that is from this area. And that's okay. That's cool. That's fine.
100%. Yeah.
And I'm not by any means saying that any venue will say no to you. Most of them will actually say yes to you. And they just want you to take more precautions because of the nature of the music.
Yeah.
Okay, which is understandable. But what's most important is that the crowd that comes out to support the hip hop community, okay, is representing the hip hop community just as well as the rock fans would represent the rock shows. Listen, bro, they have mosh pits.
Yeah.
They got people like throwing themselves amongst each other, and it still comes out happy, jolly. I appreciate you, bro. Have a good night.
Yeah.
You know, that's what needs to happen in order for the narrative to be changed, in my opinion, from the community looking at the hip hop community.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. I'm gonna just drop that mic. I'm gonna just drop that mic real quick. I'm sorry. My apologies. I don't know if I stated this, but we're here for episode 136 of the Middleman podcast.
It's a lot.
Featuring. No, did I? I think I said it in the beginning, but I was like, I kind of like rushed it. But DJ AR, okay, from the Diamond City 107.5 Diamond Radio. You started the radio station, okay, which is kick ass. But let's get back into your producing. So you're producing beats and you were working with artists that you still work with to this day.
Yeah.
Such as
Sellz, Oxy, Ant, King Fatai. There's so many going down the list that like I work very close with. And then there's people over the years that, you know, I've been working with that, you know, we cool and, you know, we make some lit stuff.
Your production style, you know, since you got into FL, okay, and it wasn't your preferred program, right? Because it was a lot to learn in the beginning.
It was just the programs in general. I didn't know any others, so yeah, I could say that, yeah.
Okay, so Oxy put you on the FL, okay? Yep. Looking at that now, you know, given that you've been doing this for how many years? Since you were like 16, you are 20.
I'm 28 now, so I started taking it real serious at 18 though. So
18,
a decade,
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll just nip 2 years off the butt. So we're looking at what now? We're looking at like 10 years, give or take. 10 years in a producing game. Earlier tracks to now, the progression. How do you see it? What can you say about it?
Bro, the first beats were so ass. Like, it's hilarious to go back and listen to them. But to now, I really feel like I can hone in and make whatever sound it is I want and lock it in and make it at a high level, you know. But it's been over the years, you know, like I say, if it wasn't for Antidote by Travis Scott,
okay,
I probably wouldn't even be doing the type of production I do.
So that song in particular is a good reference into your production style, into what you want to produce in your sound.
Yeah, that and Swimming Pools, Kendrick Lamar.
Swimming Pools. Okay. Yeah. So very like old school hip. So about those songs of productions, what really encapsulated it for you?
The atmosphere. Shameless plug, but that is just, it is what it is. There's just something so just spacey about the instrumentals, and that for the time it was so different to me. It just it clicked my ear, because when I started, like, you know, listening to music and stuff, I didn't think of anything else but do I like it? And then
Okay.
you know right away.
Yeah.
And
Why? Why do you know right away?
it's something hits your ears.
It's the beat, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really
Yeah.
carries. There's such a significant part to the beat.
Oh
in
yeah.
the production of a song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's half of it. It's the producer and the artist who come together and you make something special.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, and I think that's why there's a different support level when it comes to producers to the artists out here and in general, because, you know, when it's artist to artist supporting each other,
Okay.
sometimes, you know, especially in this game of hip hop, it's competition.
Yeah.
But when you're with, you know, producer to artist, that's your like frequent collaborator. So, yeah, I mean, the beat is when you put fire bars over a fire beat, you got stuff like that. So
Yeah. So you had mentioned space. Okay, space is a very it's a common theme that's reoccurred twice this night. Given if you were watching the live stream of DJ AR here doing the live radio on 107.5 Diamond Radio was kick ass. You might have had an opportunity to win 2 atmosphere tickets, by the way. But the word of the day, okay, the word of the day was space.
yeah.
Okay, so space, that sound. Do you dive into space when you're producing a sound? Okay, what do you see in your head?
When I'm going down that lane, when it's kind of like people call it an AR beat,
Okay,
it's that spaciness, you know. When I used to smoke a lot of weed, what could I like just sit and vibe and just float away into? That's like kind of what just comes out. I don't try to do it. That's just what comes out, and it's very spacey.
that's interesting, bro. That's
Yeah.
that's a good way. That's a unique way to describe your music. You know, everyone has a way to describe their music. And spacey, when I think of spacey, I think of maybe like a jazzy line man. Okay, so I'll have to connect you two because I think
Okay.
that something really wicked could happen there because like the sounds very lucid, very yeah. And then
Yeah.
when the artists who you're working with who look for those spacey sounds, who are some of the notable ones that you work with?
Well, the guys that I work with close hand, so it's kind of like, you know, you trust each other.
Okay.
So I dive into the sound they're looking for, but then I'll be like, they always want like, yo, let me get just the AR beat.
An AR beat.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When did that get time stamped?
Cheesy Mac 2017 when he said, "Hey, I got the sauce," and that was the moment. My name originally was AR-15,
Okay.
so then it kind of it was AR-15 got the sauce. It all turned into that, and that was the moment.
Wow. Okay. So who was that artist? I said it again. Mac.
Cheesy Mac.
Cheesy Mac.
He out of Philly. Somebody I work with very
I
closely.
feel
too.
like I've heard that name too.
Yeah,
No cap.
you
Like
might have.
I feel like I've heard that name maybe once or twice, man. Once or twice. So collabing with producers, is that something you do often?
I love to do it. There's not many producers out here. Shout out No
Okay.
Diz. Shout out Steez. Those are the two I work with.
Mhm.
I don't know too many others. I'd love to network with some more. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Is there anything such as a AR space tape where you have beat packs or something where you put it out to the public on a Spotify account of your own?
Nah, I've definitely have made beat tapes in the past,
Mhm.
but I've never like put them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you?
Probably.
As a way to like, so like you think of The Alchemist, right?
Oh yeah.
You
Go.
know, people, that's spacey.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's like really spacey, The Alchemist. So The Alchemist, like, you know, a beat, just a track, it's your name. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man. Something
Yeah.
to consider. If how big is your catalog?
Of music I produce for other artists.
Just
Or
beats that were
beats?
unused and still
Oh
are
my
sitting in a vault.
I it's over probably 10,000 to be honest with you.
Exactly. You
Yeah,
see?
it's
You
it's
have
a
it.
lot.
You
Yeah.
have the laundry list to put it together.
Yeah, I do.
And that'd be pretty cool because at that point you're also targeting people who aren't within your circle. You're targeting the global audience. You know, everyone can hear it. If they like what they hear, you know, they could contact you and buy the beat.
Yeah, yeah. Listen,
Hey,
you might be onto something here.
I think I am onto something, brother. I think I am onto something. You know, so you work with these artists and
Yeah.
you have you done any shows with them? Any live shows?
Yeah, plenty. Shout out King Fatai. I've done a bunch of shows with him. And that's kind of what got me into DJing. Because
Okay.
I'm producing all this music and they're like, yo, just come on stage and be my hype man. I would do that. Just come on stage and be the hype man. But I'm like, yo,
Have you done that?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. But I'm like, I could get more involved. Like, let me just DJ the show. You know what I'm saying? And that all spiraled into that. So, because I like being on stage.
Mhm.
I like doing it, you know? So being behind the scenes is really my thing. And I never really showed my face. So a lot of them are going to be happy that I'm out here today.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay. Wait, so I'm sorry. I think I misheard that. You said being behind the scenes is or isn't your thing?
it is.
It is your thing.
But I
Okay.
also like to be on stage
Yeah.
too. So it's,
how's that work out?
it's conflicting.
No, it's cool. Yeah, no, I get it because that's the most like producers. You know, you're behind the scenes. You guys don't really show your face. It's a common theme. It's a common theme. But to
Yeah.
be on that stage, have that energy, and I've seen you bring that energy while you were out here DJing live on your show, and like just picturing that with a live audience. You know, I've talked to multiple DJs. You know, I've seen them work. Okay, and like, Colo, what are you doing? Okay, cool. My fault. Apologies. Michael took the day off. Okay, and Colo got me. Shout out our cameraman of the day, Colo TV. He's here today, so thank you for being here today because otherwise this show wouldn't be possible. Okay.
Nope.
But I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. I was talking about producers.
Yep.
And
common theme about how it's always we're behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the
reserved and
scenes,
stuff,
exactly. And then going on stage, being a part of these DJing sets. You know, now you're DJing some of these notable performances that you've been a part of. What are some of your favorite experiences? Where have you gotten to travel? And how big of a crowd have you played for?
That's a good question. Definitely. So even just I would travel with them when they would do shows, even if I wasn't going on stage with them. So I've done shows with Ant, like him in Atlanta.
Cool.
I've been to Los Angeles a couple of times, not specifically for shows, but producer camps and networking events with Monster Sessions. Shout out Dame Taylor, Monster Sessions. New York City, you know, anything, Philadelphia. I've done shows in quite some places.
Monster Sessions. Is that a producer or is that like an event?
That is a producer camp. It's like a program. It's everything. It's so hard to explain. It's a producer school basically that isn't like a regular college curriculum, but they have a lot of stuff with multiple producers, and they have camps and networking events, and that is,
you just like networked your way into that, or did you apply? How'd that?
Yeah, so that's definitely something I want to dive into more because that was something in 2018. I'm doing all this music locally and stuff, and I'm at the point I'm like, bro, I need a damn placement.
Okay.
I'm like, I gotta do something. So I'm just going through the internet, and I come across Monster A&R, which is a part of Monster Sessions, and that was a more online thing because right there in Los Angeles. So I would, send beats. I got in contact with Dame. I sent my beats and everything. I got locked in, and I met a lot of producers through that, collaborating. So outside of,
really cool.
Yeah, I collab with a lot of people more outside of the area. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Around here, I only know the two, but outside, because of Monster Sessions and A&R, I collab a lot. And yeah, it's just, it's a lot came from that.
How do you stay in contact with these guys? Do you like fly out and get in the studio with them and
phone over online and stuff? So like I was saying, A&R was strictly for like online, but they started to convince me to go to the camps, and between the camps and the networking events, I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I fly out to LA, met everybody in person. I did that a couple times. I went to Atlanta with them too. But it was just it was I was very pivotal in my, I guess you could say, my career.
How has that transcended you forward? How has that really leaped you forward? Was it just working with those guys, like
working with them,
building a connection,
everything Dame was teaching, he literally taught me the most important thing when it came to music, and it was a very simple quote by him: "The answers are in the music."
The answers in the music.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like, if, as a producer, you're trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I make this? He's like, bro, go listen to the music. The answer's right there. They're telling you what to do. And when I figured that out and it clicked, it was over.
That's gangster. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, shout out Dame Taylor.
That's my guy, man. So that's basically your mindset. That's like your mantra now. Go listen to it.
100%. Yeah, that's how I figured out how to DJ. That's how, with the radio and everything, I'm like, well, what do they do? I go listen to the radio. Mm-hmm. Oh, they have all this imaging. They do this, these promotions.
Have you always found yourself like would you say you're an audible learner in that sense?
No.
Really?
I'm a hands-on learner, but that was one of the things that just clicked. I don't know. I'm very good too with learning from analogies.
Okay.
I love sports. So when people put stuff in sports analogies and that, which he did, it was very like it just clicked. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool, bro. Good for you. So doing that, did you get a placement?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely have done stuff. Between Monster Sessions, I met someone by the name of K Scott. Shout out K Scott, great friend of mine. We did a song for his alma mater, the University of Utah.
Cool.
And so they used that for all their big games. They used it when they won the championship, the Pac-12 championship a couple years back.
I want to hear that song.
No, definitely.
Yeah, I gotta hear that.
Sirius XM used it. Little Caesars used it. That was a good one.
Wow.
Me and King Fatai, we had gotten our song to Bounce Back in the NBA. So that was a dope placement.
The Bounce Back got into NBA?
Yeah.
That's sick. Okay.
Yep. I've worked with do you know Eric Bellinger is?
I do not.
He's an R&B singer from LA. Through Monster Sessions, we worked on that. I definitely have.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're taking steps to get to where you want to go. Where do you think the hub of music would strive for you?
Like where?
Like location-wise. Location.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any plans to get out there?
Yeah, they've been trying to get me out there for years.
Because you got a lot of stuff going on here now,
I know,
too.
Yeah. New York wouldn't be bad either.
Okay.
And that's right there. So that's more of a option than LA. Because you can just drive. It's not far. But I'd love to live in LA. It's nice weather and everything, but it's too far from home.
The laws are crazy though, I don't know, man. There's a lot of shit that's banned from California.
Yeah, it's nice to legally carry a gun here. Can't do that.
True.
So
You can't do that, man.
Yeah.
You can't do that. All right. Well, that's cool, man. So producing is gonna take you far. I was looking at your numbers on you put up a post on your Instagram and there was numbers there. You got 1.5 million streams in 2024.
Yeah, that's
or maybe like, is that long time longevity wise?
It's through just a lot of it was that year from the it was all worth it from King Fatai, because that I want to say that album peaked number 50 on iTunes for us. But that's from a lot of stuff. Yeah. That's all my credits. So
yeah, and that's got to be dope, bro. That's got to be a dope feeling, to be from doing that like 10 years and now like you're finally. I'm sure this was a goal of yours, right?
Yeah,
and to be at like top 50, that's pretty gangster, bro. That's pretty dope.
Yeah,
that's
it's nice.
Dope.
Yeah,
a lot of people need to hear more about this.
It means
tap in.
It means a lot too when you're doing it with somebody that you've been rocking with too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We're just doing it from when we were making music and it was not it. To now it's like,
hey, you got to be honest. I respect
be honest.
that.
I'm not gonna sit up here and say day one I was like that because I wasn't. So
yeah,
it means a lot more in that sense. Yeah,
cool. So where do you record? Where are you like producing all these beats?
I can make them anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mostly at the crib. I got my own setup. But headphones, I've made them in airports. I've gotten stuck in an airport for like 10 hours and knocked out 10 beats.
Do you have like a recording booth or anything for artists to come through and work with you, or did it usually send you a verse, you send out a beat? How's that work?
Yeah, I have it all. I like to preferably go to a studio when it's not my core. When it's my core, I don't care. We can set up anywhere.
When it's not your core.
So
okay,
like,
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Oxy and all that. Yeah. But anybody, I like to just go to a studio, lock in, and just whatever the vibe is. You know what I mean?
Was there ever a time that was like the most inspired you felt while making beats? And do you find yourself trying to replicate that moment?
I think it's always been there. I don't think there's been a single moment. I just want to do it, like, and achieve what I'm trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's never ending.
That's really dope, man. So you're hitting it, man. You're doing a great job. You're networking with notable artists out in this area. You keep growing your name.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, a lot of people know you, right? But publicly, this is your first podcast, right?
This is my first podcast. Yeah, I've only done probably 2 interviews with Monster Sessions, a couple here or there, but this is like sit down.
But you also had another interview. You had another interview here that you brought me a snippet that was actually posted in the paper today, which is pretty gangster. Today is April 18th.
We'll say that.
Yeah, we'll say April 18th. Today's
Yeah.
April 18th, and for you to bring me this, and it was posted today, it's pretty dope. So he had an interview because we're gonna get into the radio. I'm excited to talk about the radio. I think this is monumental what you're doing here.
Appreciate it.
It's really, really dope, and I was happy to hear it with my type of work. I'm always on the road listening to music, so it was a breath of fresh air. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, there was an article written about the 107.5 Diamond Radio started by DJ AR. AR's got the sauce, and you started this within this year, correct?
Yeah, so it's been in the making. We've wanted to do it since 2016.
Who's we?
Me and my brother.
Okay.
Shout out my brother. He takes care of everything behind the scenes and like the technical
Mhm.
that makes it run, makes us sure we're legit. Like nothing's gonna, mess up. So I got to give him credit for everything on that.
Yeah. So is that something? So you guys always wanted to start this radio. When did the idea like formulate?
Like it really
And
came.
why? That's actually that's dope. Like to be sitting there like, yo, let's start a radio station. That's awesome.
It originally started because there was no hip hop radio up here.
Okay.
There was no hip hop radio station in even the like relatively close. You had to either go down to Lehigh, out to New York and pick up a signal. And we're like, yo, we got 5 rock stations, 5 country, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Well, come on.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, let's just do it our damn self. So we got it into full effect. We started it probably the end of last year. Got everything, wheels in motion.
So 2024. Okay.
Yep.
So the
And
end of
then
24.
March of this year, we launched.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And like the process to obtain a platform such as that,
It's a lot.
was it easy? Was it difficult? How much like
Um,
walls did you have to get through?
There's a lot. There's a lot to go through with it because you can't just play the music. When an artist's song gets played on there, they get paid.
Mhm.
So someone has to pay them. You know what I mean? You got to make sure you're going through all the publishing companies and you have all that. So when you could partner up with platforms like Live 365, which you can find us on. It's very nice because they make things a lot easier. But we run all our own programming, so it takes a lot.
So you had to find partners in order. So every song. So is it every song that you played, the artist gets credit for that?
Yeah, legally, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, even when you
so-
go down to the bar downstairs,
Yeah.
they got to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your job is to find a partner that has a wide variety and a wide catalog, and probably the one that you want and need for your station, right?
Yeah, it's finding the right company that offers that and then making sure everything's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you have to go through like a lotto, or were Live 365 one of the ones that
They
was-
stuck out. It made the most sense. Yeah.
Cool. And are they like local, or are they like really far away?
It's national. They
Okay.
do a lot of stuff. They have a lot of big stations on there and stuff.
Cool.
But getting their platform with their everything to make sure we're good, and then we do everything on our own with our own programming and all that. So it's a lot.
What goes into the programming? Elaborate on that. Like running the station while no one's there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
24/7. It doesn't stop. 24/7 digital radio on
Correct.
570.
Correct.
So making sure that doesn't shit the bed. There's so many different laws from internet to FM. Can't play the
There
same
are.
artist.
Yeah.
Can't play the same artist 3 times in a 4-hour span. All this stuff could get us shut down. So we make sure we're right to the T and nothing's messed up. And we very, very much prioritize the local artist.
Mhm.
We're playing local music twice an hour. You probably get like 10 songs an hour between commercials and everything. 2 of them, that's what we want to do. We want to even get it up more.
How would local artists submit their track if they were to want to be put on the radio?
So directly to the website at www.1075thediamond.com, you can submit all your stuff. Got to be clean. Don't send me no foo-foo dirty stuff. All right. Make sure it's clean. Myself, since I have my show at 7, we have more DJs coming on. I don't want to spoil no names yet, but if you link up with a DJ on the show, they could play it. They have the freedom to play what they want. So definitely networking with people at the station. And I will tell the DJs too, go out and link with the artists. Yeah. Because
Cool.
the goal of it is to make a platform, not only to bring hip hop more to the 570, but to give artists a chance to just get heard. You know what I mean?
No, I agree entirely, man. Just the thought of hearing your track on the radio. Like
Yeah.
if I ever heard my voice on the radio, like that's a whole different demographic. That's a whole different wavelength of listeners that you can reach nationwide.
Oh yeah, we have listeners from Texas, Florida. There's, it's
Yeah.
all over the place. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And when they start popping up around the
Mhm.
country, it's like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
You know? How did that happen, man?
Yeah.
Are you able to go worldwide with that? Is that a thing? Because it's internet radio. Could you do that?
We are right now. Again, it's different with the publishing laws.
Okay.
You can hear us in Canada, the United States, Mexico, and the UK.
Wow.
So yeah.
Dude, if you start popping in the UK, that is really... Dude, the UK loves American hip hop.
Yeah.
They do. They
Yeah.
really do. They
Yeah.
emulate it in the drill. You know?
Skoo-da-poop-bop.
Yeah. Exactly, man. So programming that's all your brother.
Yeah, from the technical aspect, and then I come through with like okay, we're playing this song, let's move this here. I get the imaging. Again, someone I mentioned earlier who does the comedy, Khalil Ismail, does a lot of the imaging that you hear on our station.
Imaging is
when you hear the name of the station and all that.
okay.
Yeah.
That voice.
Yep.
I think I could do that voice. Can I tell you that?
Listen.
Could you do an impression of that voice? Have you ever tried?
No.
Have you ever tried? Are you willing to try right here, right now? Ring that bell one more time if you are willing to try it. And here we go. It is time for my favorite segment, your impersonation of the 107.5 Diamond Radio.
Yep.
That's what it is, bro. That's what I got.
107.5 The Diamond, your home for hip-hop and R&B.
There's also another imaging that is coming straight from the basement. Something like that.
Yeah. That one is 570's #1 digital radio playing underground jams. No, literally, we're in a basement.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really, so my line of work, I'm traveling a lot for work, right?
Okay.
So I listen to music nonstop, constantly, okay? And, I knew we had this podcast coming up, and as a podcaster, as you were to probably watch one of my episodes before you got on the show, it's right for me to do my due diligence and download the app, the 107.5 Diamond Radio, available on
Apple, Google Play, Odyssey, Apple Music. Realistically, our website, anywhere you can listen to music, you're going to hear us.
for free 99.
Damn right.
So I downloaded the app and I'm there working. I got the headphone in and man, I was enjoying the tunes that I was listening. I heard modern tracks. I heard throwbacks. I heard, just other sounds that I wouldn't normally listen to. And I was like, oh, what song is this? What song is this? And if you miss the track, the beauty of it, especially through the app, is that through the app, it will allow you to see the tracks that were played before.
Yep.
Through the audio app or Odyssey app, the Odyssey app, I couldn't really see that. I don't even think you were able to see what you were listening to at that time.
No, Odyssey, that's not how they run their programming. They just make sure you get the stream. Shout out Odyssey because that's a big platform. If you type in Wilkes Barre, we're like the second station under Froggy 101 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
Definitely shout out Odyssey. Our app, you can favorite it. You can go right and buy it. Takes you right to Apple Music. And we're updating our apps because soon we want to do interviews with the local artists.
Yeah.
We want to start throwing on some beats and see if they can really rap. You know what I'm saying?
Up, man. That's what's up. Dude, you really you did the marketing thing, bro. You saw a lack in something that was needed and you're just doing it. And dude, you have the capability of like transcending this to the top of all top, especially with there's a strong hip hop foundation in Wilkes Barre.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they enjoy hip hop. So yeah, man, you guys are on to something monumental here. You know that, right?
Appreciate it. Yeah.
You know that, right?
We're trying, yeah.
That's awesome. So, the radio, the app.
Yeah.
Who developed the app?
That's through Live 365.
Really?
They helped us out with that. Yeah,
That's dope.
That's our version 1 app. We're developing our own for version 2 so that we can add in like I said, the videos. You're going to be able to message us right there, request songs live.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot more interactive. We want people to be able to interact with us just straight there, call in, all that.
So you had mentioned adding more DJs to your radio station.
Yes.
I know you don't want to release their names, but let's talk about how many potential live shows you would like to develop within this year?
This year, one a day.
Okay.
I want
One
at
a
least
day.
one a day. The goal is to have live shows throughout the mornings, evening, and night.
Yeah.
And then, nighttime would just be playing and stuff. But we want it just rocking. You know what I mean? We want people engaged.
And how large is this DJ team that you feel you need to acquire in order to achieve that?
I can get a solid group. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think if there's 7 days a week, at least 7. And then, they could play for as long as they want. They want 2-hour slot, 3-hour slot. We're going to make sure we get everybody right. You can catch me live Fridays at 7 p.m. That's my slot.
Yeah, man. You ain't moving from that slot, huh?
I ain't moving from that slot.
That's awesome. And development of so you had talked about artists coming on the show, right? Doing segments, stuff like that. Would you ever, at that point, you guys are basically building a home base, a home platform, probably going to buy your own studio, right?
Yep.
Your own station,
that's
something
the
like
plans.
that?
Yep. We definitely want to get our own spot. So that's what we'll have everyone come in, do the interviews. Let's be honest, the goal is to go FM. It's just called what it is. 107.5 Diamond on your radio dial is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you peeped the name on why it's 107.5, but if you flip it backwards, it's 570.
Ah.
And that's why we went with those numbers.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
I never knew that, by the way. Got some stickers here. Definitely get to slap them on the wall. DJ AR and 107.5 Diamond Radio. And so that's really dope, man. I like that, to be able to really bring the 570 sound out, really highlight it and get the platform, get the people to come in and do this live show, build your own studio. May I ask, this is very personal, but funding in a radio, how do you guys acquire that? Hold on one second, real quick. You don't have to reset that middle one, okay? So just leave that going. Okay, cool. Sorry.
We just making it happen. As simple as that. Getting more into business with people and stuff. If people, partners and to take it and scale it up, we're definitely looking into stuff. But we're making sure we got all our P's and Q's in order. So
do you there's an ad, a running ad for pizza right now?
Yep.
An entry to get pizza, stuff like that. Do you find sponsorships with local stores? Do you talk to people one-on-one? Do you go door to door?
Yeah, so we do plan eventually to give it to one pizza place. That
was wild. Jeez. Someone's moving today.
They running from something. But yeah, so right now though, if you win, because say you're, the 570 is pretty big.
Yes.
So Williamsport is $1.30 from here. They win Angelo's, which is the best pizza in Wilkes Barre, or Jerry's or something like that. I don't know if they're gonna drive for a $20 pizza.
Got it.
They win, we call it in, they go pick it up. It's on us.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool. That is so cool, man. You gain a follower, do that, and people do participate in that.
Yeah, and it's more so just to give back. People want, we are spoiled with pizza up here, so it's even hard to pick one spot.
What's the feedback from the public when you started this?
It was a lot more than I expected at first.
Okay.
And I think that's because doing the music and everything.
Real quick, what was your anticipation? What were you guys anticipating before we get into what actually happened?
I don't think we had any expectations. It was just us creating it was a success. It's in its own to us.
Respect.
But people, they're like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" What gave you the idea to do radio? You asked that. It's and people just being involved. Local artists and people in the area, we want more stuff, especially with hip hop. When's the last time we had a hip hop artist at Montage Mountain?
Yeah. I think the last one was Post Malone before he went country.
He was here for a country tour. Yeah. The last one I can think of was Wiz Khalifa, 2015.
Okay.
Shout out Wiz, Cushion Orange Juice too.
Just dropped.
Yeah. But giving more of a platform to do stuff and people to hear, I think it just it engaging. It's bringing the community together too. That's the goal.
So when you started it,
yeah,
what was the reception from the public?
It was good. They very much were like, "Yo, this is sick."
Very good.
We're all in.
Well, we started this conversation with talking about this paper here. It says, new internet radio station. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this. Launches in NEPA or Northeast Pennsylvania. It was by the Scranton Times, Wilkes Barre, a new internet hip hop and R&B radio station, 107.5 The Diamond, features charts topping music, local talent, and original programming. Anthony Runez, AR, Mr. AR, director of promotions, said in a new release. And I'm not going to read all of it because that would be a lot. But basically right here, one of the statements was, we're going to make sure every local artist in the 570 gets a chance to be heard while also bringing you today's hits and the classics.
Yeah.
Which, you guys, like I said, man, you guys were on the money. Like I said, as listening, participating, digesting the radio station, hearing it, it was really, really dope. And then being able to watch you do it live. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would love to see a feature in the app somehow, some way for you guys to be able to replay that. Always, like if someone really, really enjoys your energy, enjoys, like, let's say you develop a segment within your show.
Yeah.
You know, you prolong it longer than an hour. Now you're on for an hour and a half. Now you're from 7 to 9. You know, it's the, what's the name of your show? If you're gonna call it, what would you call it?
You know, I'm figuring it out. It's just going right now. You're just in the mix with DJ AR.
Time to get saucy, something like that,
Yeah.
Or just something like that, man. So to be able to do that and, have everyone tune in and get the support from the people to be able to call and watch it live again. Is that something that's in development for you guys to be able to replay that if they missed the show?
Yeah, even too, once we get the app and everything, we get situated in our new studio, we want people to be able to watch live.
Yeah.
Through our app, you'd be able to find us on Twitch and stuff too. They could watch the show live too. So all that is in. We want people to be able to hear it. We do replay our shows usually. If I'm at 7, you can hear it again at 10.
Mm-hmm.
They can hear it a couple times, but you got to come every Friday.
Yeah. No, for sure. Just keep promoting that. Keep plugging that in, guys.
Yep.
And it was a great experience, man. It's fun to see you in your element, to be able to break up the tone, the beat, and just, hey, you have, what's that one tag? It's like, okay. Is that
okay?
That's is that your thing? That's like,
yeah,
that's like your
yeah. When it's some news I'm giving out, and I want the people to know, they're gonna hear it. Okay, yeah. So you heard that. If you heard it, you got to keep your ears open because you might win free tickets to the Atmosphere Music Festival 2025, which is sponsored by the 107.5 Diamond Radio, bro. So we are extremely grateful. Let me just say, I told you, like, one-on-one, we talked on the phone, like, extremely grateful for you to be a part of that, man. You're gonna play a huge role in the festival, man. We have a lot of things lined up for the people. Little spoilers, man, but you can hear some shit. You can hear some shit live. You might not be able to hear your show, but you're gonna hear something, man. And I'm excited to see, because we're only a few months out. Yeah,
I'm excited to see the team that you build within your DJing set. Because we want to have live music outdoors, man, and the more the merrier, man. So if we're able to accomplish that with your guys as well as other DJs, producers, make it a big thing that we're just bringing together.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. It makes you feel complete, whole. Because our goal, our mission, I think we're line to eye, is just bringing the hip-hop community together, giving it a good respect and a good name, because you and I, we had talked, because Mr. AR here is going to be at Atmosphere Lounge opening, the grand one, for the first night, DJing for us.
Yep.
And we had a conversation about, a nightclub in different areas, and there's limitations because of what happens. So it's all about us creating the environment, having it safe, making it fun, and being able to repeat that. And then they won't have no choice, bro, but they'll have to respect us.
They got to, yeah.
The hip-hop community's here, and they're strong, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're strong. So I'm excited for you to DJ at the Atmosphere Lounge, bro, because I think you really do have great energy. You have a great energy, bro. You're gonna kill, because you killed tonight, man. You were in your bag, and have you DJ'd live parties or anything like that? Like anyone's parties? I think I did see you do a party on your Instagram.
Yeah. I did King Fatai's album release party with DJ Manic as well. Shout out him. I do plethora of events, private parties and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the grand opening. It's the first time doing a grand opening of something. So this is definitely going to be, super sick, and getting to play hip hop, reggaeton, all that.
Yeah,
it's going to be sick, man. It's going to be sick.
With live artists as well, man. Yeah. By the time this podcast drops, the event would have already happened. So you'll be hearing about it. You'll be seeing it. I'm sure you will. And we're gonna be doing it again. Let's just put it out there, man. We're gonna be doing it again,
Yep.
and you're locked in with us, man. We're gonna have a great time. So at this time in the show, we're gonna tune in to Tea Time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. My boy R is not having a tea, but do you got your Fiji? You got your Fiji water? No shameless plugs here. You know, shake up that water, make sure it's nice, fine, and crisp. ASMR for the people. Here we go. Welcome to Tea Time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. Let's see what the Tea Time question of the day is. My good man, I need you to pick a question out of this jar. Okay. We'll read it aloud, and we'll see what we have. Oh, you picked two, I think. You picked two. That's just one? All right. Let's see it. Okay, this is a good question. So the Tea Time question of the day, my friends, is what is the most exciting adventure you've been on? That's a great question. I love that.
Man, to be honest, without it sounding cliche, is the music adventure.
Okay.
To be honest with you, because where it's taken me, what I've done with it, I don't think I could ever thought where it would have went. You know, starting back on the concourse to in the basement with a sock over the mic from Kmart. You know what I mean? Like to now, the journey's been way more fun than the destination. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an adventure in it all. There's a beauty in it, bro. Are there any like old recordings of you guys, you know, with that sock microphone or something like that? You see that and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I tried to record as much as I can throughout the years. So we have like a extensive back catalog of just us in the basement, 17, 18, just trying to rap.
That'd be like a documentary.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Any thought of that? You guys doing that?
Well, yeah, definitely. Like one day, you know, I mean, we got to get some more things moving, and that's gonna be.
It's a beautiful adventure, man. You know, you reflect on how, and with you, like you've been in it for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I've been podcasting for 6 years. You know, so looking back, I've had failed podcasts. You know, I've rebooted 2 times. This is my 3rd one. You know, like, and there is a beauty in that. You know, adventure. But me personally, I have an adventure story that it's funny because it came because of the podcast, this adventure. Okay. And, probably the most exciting adventure that I've ever been on in my life, has to be the ghost hunt. I went on a ghost hunt with the ghouls paranormal. This was before we had video. We did an audio podcast, right? I think it was like episode 46, 47. I know they were later in my first go around because after 50 episodes we usually tend to take a little bit of a break. And I was chatting with them on a show and I was like, dude, I would love to go on this ghost hunt. Like that kind of sounds wicked. And they were like, well, put your money where your mouth is and let's go. And I was like, all right, well, you know, 2-3 weeks later they hit me up and they're like, hey Kev, we were actually like, we're looking at this place, would you want to go? It's called Crescent Sanitarium. Okay, it's in the middle of Pennsylvania, like dead splat middle, like 4 or 5 hours away. And yeah, I committed and I went on this ghost hunt. And that to me was probably one of the most exhilarating, adventurous, exciting things that I've ever done in my life, bro. Because that shit was horrific.
I'm sure it was.
But it was like, yo, is this real? Like, this is really happening right now. Like, I'm really experiencing that shit. Would you ever do something like that?
Fuck no.
No?
No.
All right.
No.
I'm not an adrenaline junkie? Would you jump out of an airplane?
I would do that. I ain't gonna ghost hunt.
All right. So you leave the dead to the dead.
Let them rest.
You leave the dead to the dead.
Yeah.
Dude, there's actually the whole video's on YouTube. It's nuts.
I might watch
shamelessly plug. I'll plug that in. That's one of my key, most highlighted moments of my career because I experienced some shit, bro, that I cannot explain. And you know, I said my farewells and goodbyes, and don't follow me home, and and that had to be the most exciting adventure of my life. That's for sure, most definitely. So that was Tea Time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea / Fiji water. Make sure you get your Fiji water, the purest water in the islands, coming from Fiji.
Yeah.
Bougie as fuck. Bougie guy over here. Bougie guy over here. So, yeah, man, you guys are on the great things, man. And how soon do you think you would implement a live guest coming on your show, like doing something like that where you can invite people, have them do like a 15-minute window conversation,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it would be a lot shorter of interviews. Probably be real soon. To be honest, I would be on a lookout because everything's just in motion. It's like once it started, it was going quicker than we expected.
Yeah.
So definitely real soon. Definitely want to get artists up there and do a little, like we'll do like 5-10 minutes, play a song. 5-10 minutes, play a song. So
Yeah, no, that'll be really monumental key. I think that's what this environment needs. I think that's what the hip hop community wants. And for you to be able to like be in charge of that, bro, and put everyone together, man, that's gonna be really dope for you, man. And
for sure.
yeah, we're gonna be able to like help each other hand in hand here. 1000%, man.
Yeah, for
Middleman and 107.5 Diamond Radio, we're locked in because we both stand with and for hip hop.
Damn right.
You know, so that's key, man. That's really good, man. You have a strong character, you have a strong mind, bro. And like before this, what did you want to do?
I wanted to play basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hooper dreams. Let's go.
I thought I was Allen Iverson. You know.
AI.
I growing up, all I wanted to do was hoop. I can remember being 9 on the back, playing in the pouring rain, getting them shots up all the way to high school. And, you know, I made dumb decisions, and that ended up leading me to not be able to play. And music kind of just, from everything I said, just kind of fell into my lap at the right time. But yeah.
Do you have any big shows or anything planned with any of the artists within this year? Any big notable drops? Any albums that you're closely working on producing with any artists?
Yeah, I got quite a couple. I got Life on the Edge with Ant coming out. I also got Still Sad with Sellz coming out. I'm working with Oxy on a new project. Yeah, there's a lot, man. There's a lot. I've been doing a lot. Recently, the end of last year, I ended up doing 2 joints off King Magnetic's album, Third Time's a Charm. Yeah, much more stuff coming with them. And
just gonna keep growing, man.
Just stay working, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just staying working.
And like, what does your brother do other than do all the algorithm stuff to it?
He just makes sure it's runs. He's very technical, like he's very into the computers and stuff.
Yeah.
He's not somebody that he's not outside. He stays to himself, and he just knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really dope, man. And like I said, man, being able to go on that radio station and hear it live time and time again with the ads, stuff like that, it's just it's such a nostalgic feel. You know, such a nostalgic feel, and it's music that I want to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Providing music for the demographic of the people who have been wanting to hear this, man. Have been wanting to hear this. So, yeah, talked about getting on FM. Are there steps to getting there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very extensive process. Obviously, it's going to cost a good amount of an investment.
Legalities and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's the goal. We want to be on there. It would change the game. You know.
So
what I mean?
like, what's like step 1 to that process? Like, how long could you see that? How long would it take for you to achieve that goal?
Couple years. This is probably I would say, to get on FM. Let's talk a 5-year plan.
Okay, what'll help you? Like, what are some of the key attributes that you need in order to get there?
As we continue to build our support, as we continue to get you know, companies and local businesses that want to work with us with advertisement and all that, that's what's going to be, you know, our backbone. You know what I mean? Because you hear the ads and you hear big company ads on there. You hear Lowe's and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to make sure you hear Angelo's, and we want to make sure you hear the mom and pop store down the street. So that's working with each other and just, you know, building that way.
Finding these ads, man. So like you had just mentioned there's Lowe's and stuff like that. Are there like bundles or something that they're like, oh, like this person are there tiers? Like, do you have to reach a certain amount of listeners? Are there like followers? Like how does that work? Are there tiers to a sponsorship nationwide?
No,
like
not
that?
so much.
Okay.
No, yeah.
So you basically just got to go out there and network the entire thing.
Yeah.
Are you built for that? Is your personality built for that?
Boots to the pavement. It better be. I mean, that's all I gotta say. If I'm not, I better get ready because it's what I chose.
All right. No, I'm
You know
just
what I'm saying?
testing your gangster here, bro. Hey, you can hit that bell one time if you want. Hit that bell one time if you want. And with that, you know, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to sign off the show here, man.
Cool.
There's a lot of things that are underway for you, your station, everyone involved in the hip hop scene, bro. And I think that you are gonna be a pivotal point within this area, bro. So really love what you're doing. Really appreciate you for coming out, being here, giving that live experience of you DJing live on your show, man. It was sick as fuck to see.
Thank you.
You'll be seeing it, and you'll be seeing a lot more of AR, bro. But before we get off the air here, man, I like to give the floor to my guests. So if there's anything that you want to say to the people watching at home, this is your time. Drive it home.
Man, I really got everything I wanted to say, but once again, I want to just shout out everybody that's been doing what they're doing in this area with the hip hop scene, R&B. We ain't gonna forget about you either. You know, everybody that's gotten me to the position I'm at, specifically people like Dame Taylor, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all the game and everything that you did for me. King Magnetic, you've given me a lot of game over the years as well. You know, because at the end of the day, it's not about me to me. It's about everybody that's helped me got here and what we're doing for the community and stuff. So thanks to all y'all. If you want to find me, though, you can find me at I Got the Sauce on Instagram, 1075 The Diamond, your home for hip-hop and R&B in the 570, playing today's hits and underground gems, something like a diamond. But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah,
love the show. Yeah.
Dude, I thank you very much for coming out, bro. You are, like I said, going to achieve milestones. You are coming into market at the right time, my friend. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more AR. Make sure all artists, if you can't get in contact with me, man, maybe this guy, you know, get your song played on the radio.
Yeah.
No better feeling, man. Submit your request. Make sure it's clean. None of that FUBU nasty shit. Keep that shit at home, all right?
I got FUBUs on my feet. No foo-foo in my inbox, though.
Exactly. And with that being said, everyone, I am the man in the middle, Kevin Martinez, signing off. Peace.